Chapter 42. Rest in the Jaws of the Crocodile. At the end of any journey, it's best to take a moment to reflect. Know that life takes a toll on everyone, and so I must admit that I do have my regrets. Of course, I wish I would have been more kind. There are plenty of mistakes where the ego led me astray. But looking back on the path to this exact moment, even the spurts of madness, anger, and frustration were only trying to help me realize this way. Every experience became a teacher, and even my mistakes were not wrong, since life is a melody that my intuition showed me, and every moment was like a single note in a grand symphony song. Practice makes perfect. We go through many cycles just like the moon. And the way to discover magic in this lifetime is to work together until all of us are in tune. We're but instruments of God's orchestra, which includes every person, plant, animal, and thing. There is a way to find harmony together, and once we do, every moment will be a celebration for Christ the King. After the spirit of my teacher disappeared, I sat still in my seat just as she had taught me to do, and while I contemplated why I'd been called here, the revelations of my duty came back into view. I'd need to begin my search for Dionysus soon, but the last time I saw him felt like a lifetime ago. Isolated, lost, and in over my head, where was a simple cat like me to go? That boy was stuck in the center of the earth, and how was I supposed to help that poor child? Then out of nowhere I heard my teacher whisper,
"Go on and rest in the jaws of the crocodile,"
she said. Now surely I was losing my mind, because how could I hear her if she was imitating the wind? These rhymes were getting out of control, and where on God's green earth would I begin? But what if I had gone mad? What if I'd lost my wits all along? These strange occurrences were perplexing me from all sides, and this insanity had gone on for far too long. I ran from the cave and wandered back into the woods, but it felt like something was tugging at my heart. All this intensity felt the farthest from good, and without my teacher's presence, where on the planet should I start? I felt so soft and tender. All I wanted to do was curl up and cry. This experience got so painful that it pushed me to the edge of a cliff where I wanted to jump, hide, or die. Trapped inside a cat's body, there was no way these thoughts belonged to my mind. And everywhere I looked for Father forgiveness, it felt as if I could no longer find a single one of his pure signs. Sprinting through the wild, I dashed to and fro, but everywhere I went, felt like everywhere I was not meant to go. Nothing seemed familiar. All the pieces of this great puzzle felt out of place. And as I ran faster through the jungle, my mind sped up with a frenetic pace. Thoughts were spinning like a wheel in hell. My entire existence became a terrible state of panic. And the more I reflected on my teacher's instructions, the more I wondered if she was actually satanic. What if I had been damned by the devil? How could this be a path to God? I became so anxious and paranoid that I wondered if it was I who was the fraud. Oh yes, I was the greatest liar, just a cheater and a thief. I'd taken advantage of anyone who ever came near me, and I was so selfish that all I could think about was my own selfish relief. The chaos turned so intense that I began to hunt for food. I wasn't even hungry, but I couldn't tell what I was feeling in this neurotic mood. When I did find a creature of prey, I lashed at it in a desperate attack, but I was so foolish and clumsy that everything ran before I could catch a snack. My mouth began to pant, then my eyes turned wide. Oh, Heavenly Father and Holy Mother, surely it's better if I die. You better take me, meow. Not once in my life have I ever felt this hostile. And then I heard my teacher whisper,
"Go on and rest in the jaws of the crocodile,"
she said. Running away from her voice, I tried to outrun the wind. I sprinted until my legs gave out when my spirit became pinned. heavy and exhausted. Heaving lungs waited on my deathbed. I took one last look at the pond in front of me, when I saw two eyes before a voice said,
Only the Dharma can heal all wounds. I have the medicine that will bring your soul eternal aid. Come with me, Black Cat. It's time to face the things that make you most afraid,
said her voice. I couldn't catch my breath. Surely my life was running out, because as I watched the eyes emerge from the water, I realized this was a giant crocodile's snout. Her body rose out of the water. Now her giant belly waited on the land. She opened her jaw right in front of me when I realized there was no longer an escape plan. My own mind had tricked me. It led me on a path and left me without a choice. And there I waited before this great predator when I heard the wind whisper from her voice.
Suffering is caused by your desires for control. All these longings create your personal problems. Come rest in my jaw, and I'll show you how to solve them. Today I offer you a sacred oath, a commitment of the highest degree. If you relax in my jaw, then I'll set you free,
whispered the crocodile. Its mouth was open right in front of me when the beast began to pant. Terrified of every second, this sound was the terror of death's greatest dance. I stalled for another moment, but the crocodile had yet to devour me whole. Waiting on the brink of my ending, these final seconds felt auspicious and whole. Looking at every blade of grass, I could feel vivid details perfectly in line. I noticed each and every leaf waving down at me as if all of life was perfectly aligned. My awareness was spiking. This fear of death had raised me to the highest heights. And now that I was about to be eaten by this crocodile, all of life appeared as such a precious delight. Oh, but please don't take me now. There is so much I crave to feel. If only I had one more chance to live. And so I spoke to this crocodile when I made my final appeal. I realize you must be oh so hungry, but I'm just a little cat. And if you spare me my life, I promise I'll find you plenty of rats. I'll be your personal provider. I'll bring you all the mice and rodents you wish. And if you prefer creatures of the water, then there's nothing better than the taste of the plentiful fish. For this is something I too can catch. Isn't tuna simply the best? You see, I'm a silly little creature who's lost his mind. Give me a day or so to recharge, and I'll come back after I rest.
You are more than free to go, but you are not yet free as you are. If you run from me today, then the peace you seek will always appear as ever so far. For tomorrow you'll be scared again. You'll always be on the run. Day after day you'll be dreading the moment you die, for no creature escapes when death does come. Realize I have not come to eat you, but rather I want you to rest in my jaw. Don't you recognize me, my dear? Why, not long ago you were bowing to my feline paws,
said the crocodile. I jumped to my seat, for I had to face this creature. Oh, could it be? Was this her disguised as my precious teacher? Her jaw was open wide, and again I listened to the crocodile pant. I could hear a sound deep within her belly when I heard a sacred song chant. Yes, this was my calling. Somehow all my troubles had led me right here. I'd been running from the worries of my mind, and maybe this crocodile was the answer to every last fear.
Give up trying to solve life's problems. Stop feeling that there is a solution at all. The only thing you have is the journey of this moment, which is covered by the illusion that you have yet to answer your call. The only way we truly experience this world is when we are willing to give everything away. And so I will never give up on my student. Now will you vow to never leave me for the rest of your days? Take this as an oath of your body, speech, and mind, which are like a continuous river flowing. Come rest in my jaws, and I'll get your courage going. Don't try to squirm away. Stop being so self-involved. Otherwise, you'll be trapped in the world of suffering forever, and your pains will continue to revolve. Time has come to show you the truth. once and for all? Are you ready to rest in the jaw of the crocodile and answer your call?
She asked. And so I began to realize that this experience was peaking. I could see the sun's rays glistening off her tongue, and I could hear all her teeth speaking. Everything became so brilliant and colorful. All life appeared so sacred and divine. Approaching the beauty of this miraculous moment, how had the perfection of this life been hiding within this precious instance of time? Now why had I never seen it before? Oh, it was so surreal to notice it just like this. I could see my teacher everywhere I looked, and the fullness of this moment was something I always missed. I took my first step forward. There a paw slipped past the crocodile's giant tooth, and the closer I got to relaxing in her jaws, the more profound I saw her truth.
Soon we will be bound to this path together. Do not hold anything back. To live without an escape route means you'll be among the most fearless of all black cats. No need to look for alternatives. Make a choice to stick with me through thick and thin. Stop making excuses to do it later, and so the pure experience of every moment begins. Remember, you have always been in this sacred world, yet you forgot how to see it with your own eyes. Let me remind you that life is our sacred mandala. This is the moment of truth among a world of lies. Our challenge is to be genuine and sane, to feel our heart pounding in our chest, not running away when our knees start shaking. We must relax and witness all of life's tests. Lean into the sharp edges. Meditate on what provokes resentment. After all of your sincere and intelligent questions, are you ready for this peace of contentment? Once you come rest in my jaws, you'll see things for all they are. Give up your hope and fear, for it is the journey that is the most important by far. Otherwise, you'll keep trying to escape. You'll always be running from the unknown. And so I offer you this trick of choicelessness. Come relax in my jaws, and you'll never be alone,
she said. Have you ever wondered about creation and what a seed feels like after it's been buried alive, abandoned and stuck in the darkness? I wonder if that seed prays for help to arrive, but after no one comes to save it, the seed should realize that it is called to grow. Life is a fight for survival, a battle that only the individual can know. We are called for a great journey. Growing tall is the only way out. And so I stepped forward into the jaws of the crocodile, surrendering without any expectations or an escape route.
You may think this was your choice, but I always had my eye on you. I will be your link to the sacred world, and today is your greatest breakthrough,
said the crocodile. My teacher closed her jaws around me when I let go and embraced her ease. There was nowhere to stand, nothing left to release. Peering out through the gap between her teeth, everything I saw was more vivid than ever before. I felt as if I was the total aspect of emptiness, and this emptiness was housed within the center of a creature's form. Now the sounds of bugs and songbirds called out in the praise of my teacher. Everywhere I looked, they were chanting to God. The entire wilderness sprouted out as if they were reaching up for her. God's teaching was not separate from the journey. It all went hand in hand. Resting in the jaws of the crocodile was more miraculous than I realized, and I could even see my teacher in every grain of sand. There I saw her in the gentle water and the ripples passing by. She was within the seagulls flying over, and hidden within the clouds, high within the sky. She was in every glimmer of light, and in the bubbles floating on the peaceful waves. My teacher was the shell on the shoreline. This was the same one I had found in the cave. God was always in front of me, but I was so self-involved that I nearly missed her. Oh, how had I ever forgotten the magic of this magnificent moment? And then she came through the wind when I heard her whisper.
Have patience with the unresolved. Among whatever you go through, you'll never find the answers which cannot be given to you. Cherish every moment. Take proper time to reflect. Life is rarely what we think, never quite what we expect. We need you more than ever. Do not quit among distress. Be no one but yourself, nothing more, nothing less,
she said. Oh, my dearest and beloved teacher, this great teaching is only a subtle scare. What I once saw as fear is the way you are making me sane and aware. May I treasure every moment. May I listen to all your sacred words. There you hide behind everything ever created, as you are within every sound ever heard. Resting in union with her, I relaxed in the jaws of the crocodile, where we went exactly where we needed to go, and there was no reason to question anything, because there was nothing I needed to know. From the way I see it, we've all got at least 9 lives to kill, and someday when death does come, at least my life will have fulfilled her will. This was the moment of no escape, nowhere left to run, and so the best thing you'll ever do is the hardest thing you'll overcome. May you discover the way to see my great teacher. May God and the rest of us never be apart. And all that's left to say was the one final prayer resting within my heart. Saint Michael the Archangel, intercede for me with God in all my necessities. Obtain for me a favorable outcome in the matter I confide in you. Mighty Prince of the heavenly host and victor over rebellious spirits, remember me, for I am weak and likely to miss the mark, and so prone to pride and ambition. Before me, I pray, my powerful aid in temptation and difficulty, and above all, do not forsake me in my last struggle with the powers of evil. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in the battle. Amen.